What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up and Chat. My name is BJ Mathews, aka B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, Spotify, Iheartradio, Twitter, TikTok. You know what I'm saying? The Pull Up Basketball Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, subscribe. All of our YouTube videos. Hit that notification bell. Buy a subscribe button. Let's get it popping. All right, let's get it popping. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it going. This video, I had to do a lot of research. It's gonna be a little informative. It's gonna be not too long, but it's gonna be very detailed. So I hope y'all, keep up. I watched this video yesterday by one of the people I'm subscribed to. Shout out to Too Raw for Sports TV. If you guys do not follow him, he's one of the biggest basketball channels in the YouTube business. Been around a long time with the LDBC community, the Lions Den basketball community. I've been following him for about a month now. So he has a lot of videos pertaining to basketball, football, news itself that's going around the world. Just a great, content creator. So go check him out. I'm gonna put him in the pinned comments. He had a video yesterday I checked out pertaining behind Kawhi Leonard, and y'all know Kawhi Leonard's been out all season with this torn ACL. So he had a video yesterday about Kawhi Leonard, basically stating in a nutshell, his injuries have been somewhat of a problem when it goes to ranking him in some of the top players amongst of all time. And he feels like his career is headed down the line of Bill Walton. And people don't know who Bill Walton is. Bill Walton was one of the great young stars in the 70s for the Portland Trail Blazers before he got hurt. He broke his foot, won a championship, and I believe in 74, 75. But after that injury, he went to the Boston Celtics, became somewhat of a role player. And anybody who knows basketball knows that injuries are part of the game. It's held a lot of people's careers from who can Grant Hill and Penny Hardaway, even some of the other greats, like, Kobe Bryant, who got derailed from injuries the last 3 seasons of his career, with the torn Achilles. Dominique Wilkins, he came back from the torn Achilles, and just so many guys as, injuries are part of the game that, you never know. So that's why you can never really use that as a reason why, but pertaining to this person we're going to talk about, which is Kawhi Leonard, I can make the case that injuries have robbed him from his success, and yet and still he's still considered one of the top, in my mind, 30 players of all time. But let's get into it. All right, first of all, let me talk about Kawhi Leonard's history when it comes to injuries. Kawhi Leonard first of all, his entire 11-year career, he's missed 31.5% of his games. I'm going to say that again. Kawhi Leonard in his 11-year career has missed 31.5% of his games, which is 265 games. 265 games that he's missed. You guys can go to any top player of all time. You will not find anybody missing that many games. Top 30 player who's missed that many games and still ranked that high. So that's really remarkable, even for him to miss that amount of time and still be ranked as high as he is. Goes to show you the dominance he has in the playoffs. He's one of the top 5 performers, in my opinion. And in the playoffs, he's played 135 out of 147 games in the playoffs, only missing 12. So his dominance in the playoffs is what has kept him in the mix of one of the top greatest players of all time, as well as, the 2 MVPs, the 2 finals appearances with the 2 championships. I'm sorry, the 3 finals appearances with the 2 championships and the 2 defensive player of the years. His accolades are there as well. I think he only has like 11,000 points right now. So when Kawhi Leonard's career is done with, he's going to be one of the most unusual players that we rank, because he has the moments and the impact to put him as a top 25 player. But the longevity and the amount of time he's missed is what's going to hurt him. So it's going to be very weird how we rank him. Over the last 5 seasons, I'm going by, because this is when, the talk about him being injured and load management started coming into play. From 2016 to 2021, which we know from last season. So let me go through the last 5 seasons. Last year, he played 52 out of 72 games, which is 72%. 2019-2020, he played 57 out of 72 games, which is 79%. 2018 to 2019, the year that he got hurt for the first time with that injury. The year before that. 2018-2019, he played 60 out of 82 games, which is 73%. The year before that, the 17-18 season when he got hurt, He played 9 out of 82 games, which is 11%. And then the year before that, 16-17, he's actually an MVP candidate, a top MVP candidate. That's the year Russell Westbrook won. He played 74 out of 82 games, which is at 90%. So I want y'all to pay attention to those figures because I'm going to go back to them later in the video. Now, here's the deal. It's a difference between being injury prone and load management. It's a difference between being injury prone and load management. Injury prone is somebody who makes a lot of minor injuries and tends up being hurt quite often. If you want to talk about somebody who's injury prone, look at the team across the hall from the Clippers and their power forward, all-star power forward, Anthony Davis, who can't just, he seems to not be healthy. Um, a lot of it could be, to me, has a lot to do with his off-season training. His off-season training, where he doesn't put enough time on his body, is part of the reason why he's continuing to get injured. That's what injury prone comes in. If your body's able to withhold the NBA season, you're gonna have to have a strong base. You're gonna have to have a strong, legs, strong, all that. Your joints, your limbs, all that stuff's gonna have to be intact. And now you do that in the off season with your off season training. Now, there's been speculation that Anthony Davis, throughout his years, does not take his off season training that seriously. Now, that's just speculation. I don't know. I'm not around AD like that, but that's just speculation. But about how he gets injured the way he does, I wouldn't think that's too far fetched. Um, so he's somebody that can look this injury prone. Kawhi Leonard, regardless of him sitting out and hit the injuries that he's had, which have been major injuries for the most part, he takes care of his body. He's in tip top shape. Um, so we can't. The injuries that he had, they just happened. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get a little bit deeper into his injury, like his injury report, like some things that I've researched and found out of why load management, what he does, is so vital and is so necessary. So y'all remember in 2017 when Kawhi Leonard got hurt against the Spurs, that in the playoff series, he had the knee bruise that kept him out the rest of the playoffs, and then the next season he kept him pretty much out when he tried to come back and he couldn't play. And that's what the fall from the Spurs happened. So I found out that Kawhi Leonard has what they call right quadricep tendinopathy. I hope I'm saying it right, which basically is the contrast from him. Sorry about that. To start over. So I found out that Kawhi Leonard has what they call a right quadricep tendinopathy, which basically, in a nutshell, is the condition that he has where it requires him to take on his load management to be able to keep the balance of his stress level and his relaxed level. Because if you go overboard with overbearing that tendon that he has in his right quadriceps, in his knee, then you're gonna have a higher risk of him getting injured. This is what the problem is in San Antonio when they tried to force him to come back. Kawhi Leonard wasn't ready to come back based off of the other things that they found out. Kawhi Leonard's team, with a doctor in New York, that he found out that he also had a right knee bruise and not right knee contusion. So what they were doing in Kawhi Leonard's camps was doing, they found out that they tried to bring him back the next season after he missed the playoffs. He played for 9 games, and they realized something was wrong. But the Spurs medical staff was still clearing him as if he was okay. All the backlash that Kawhi Leonard was getting that season, the masses didn't understand and know that it was a more serious issue that needed more more caretaking. I'm sorry, I had to get that word out. More caretaking, and he sat out the rest of the season. Come to find out, that bone bruise was actually really legit, because there was a chance that if there's a blood clot or something that can come over that blood bruise and harden, then you're going to even have a more serious problem. So they were trying to avoid that. So the load management came in for Kawhi Leonard. It was very necessary for him to do that. And then he goes to Toronto, gets traded. They honor Kawhi Leonard's request. Look, I'm going to sign with your team. Well, actually, he was traded there, but his request was to have load management, because this is the only way you're going to get the best out of Kawhi Leonard and the most effective. If you try to push him and overbear him, then there's a chance you're going to have issues that you're going to have him miss the most important time, which is the playoffs. Now, They were able to win that championship in 2019. I hope I still have y'all attention. They had a championship won in 2019 under Kawhi Leonard, but if y'all remember, he was playing hurt in that playoff year when he was limping around in the playoffs. He was dealing with what they had a left knee tendinopathy, the same thing he developed on the right knee because he was favoring that right knee over the left knee. So now here comes the left knee, having stress on that side as well. And that's what happens when you have an injury on one side. You try to favor the other side to the point where it's not balanced. So you're in danger of having the same injury. Like me personally, I had an Achilles injury on my right side in college. And then I had another injury on my left side because I was favoring my left side more than my right because of the injury that I caused, the serious injury that I had. That's what happens with any serious injury. You're going to favor the side that's actually, the good side. That's what Kawhi Leonard did in that playoffs. So now he has both knees with the tendinopathy issue. And then you go to the next season, which he gets with the Clippers. He actually was his first time playing back-to-back since the 16-17 season. Okay, he plays back-to-backs. He plays 57 out of 72 games. And then he plays all fine. He doesn't get hurt the entire year. Then next year, which is last year, is when he tore his ACL. Out of nowhere, it's a freak accident. He tore his right ACL. So what you have here, the reason why I had to, lay all that information down is because I want people to understand that fault or try to condemn Kawhi Leonard for missing time to remember the history that he has the injury history of his situation. He has to do this for him to be able to play as much as he can. Because if you overbear his tendons or his knees or whatever, you're going to have a huger problem where he's probably going to be risk of him not playing at all. He's going to have a shortened career. This method that they're doing is able to allow him to play more than 70% of games. Each one of those years I just read, Kawhi Leonard has played over 70% of the games, except the year that he came back and decided not to go in 2017, 2018. And for me personally, if you're going to play, to me, 70% or more games is enough to have enough, statistics and, to be there for your team, enough impact. It's not like he's playing half of the season. He's playing more than half the season. He's playing 70% of the games. And my thing is, if the team doesn't have an issue with it, I don't think that most of the fan base should. They know what they're doing. I think Kawhi Leonard knows what he's doing. And this is what's going to prolong his career, and it is what it is. But I also want to make this point, too. This is why I say his career is so fascinating, because for you to be able to miss a third of your career and still be one of the top, in my opinion, 30 greatest players of all time, that's remarkable. I don't think we've ever had that happen. Again, with any other top 30 player, go look through the list, has missed that amount of time and still is able to be at the level he's at. If anybody has it, go and put it in the comment section. Please tell me, because I haven't found it. And he's only 30 years old. So he has at least, to me, 4 or 5 years left to play. He signed a 4-year deal this off season, so he has at least 4 years left to play. But again, and this is why I put on Two Raw's comment section. To me, when he tried to compare it to Bill Walton, I said Bill Walton became a bench player very early in his career. Kawhi Leonard is a top 5 player when healthy with a max contract. Like, this man is far from done. But, and I think with Two Raw, I think the thing with him is he's very old school. Seems like he's about players playing the games, which I understand that. But this is a very delicate situation that we have with Kawhi. And I don't think it's enough to, just boot him out the top greatest players. There's so much more basketball to play. We got to see what is going to happen the next few years. If he can get 2 championships, which is very doable with this Clipper team, in his 4-year contract, he'll go up to the top 10 list for me. I believe he would. In my eyes, because he's arguably the best playoff performer. He has accolades. He's a two-way player. He has pretty much everything that you could think of when it comes to basketball. But injuries have robbed Kawhi Leonard of his greatness. You go back in 2017, if they had faced the Golden State Warriors team, they could have beat that team in my opinion. I believe they had the Golden State Warriors team number. If you look out throughout that entire season, the Warriors struggled against the Spurs that whole 16-17 season. And Kawhi Leonard was the MVP of that year if it wasn't for Russell Westbrook going off that triple double. So, in all, in conclusion, I just want to say Kawhi Leonard, he's fine. This is necessary for him to do. It's not going to take away from his, all-time greatness list, but they have to follow the protocol. And yeah, if y'all got any comments, you know what I'm saying, continue to follow the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull up. Peace. I like swim.